Last of the Mohicans. Chapter 6. When will help come? Days passed. The French army fired their big guns at Fort William Henry. Many English soldiers were killed. General Monroe waited, but General Webb did not send any soldiers. Monroe sent Hawkeye to Fort Edward with a message. General Webb gave Hawkeye a letter for Monroe. The scout started to go back to Fort William Henry, but French soldiers stopped him. They took the letter. They tied Hawkeye's hands with rope. The next morning, Duncan Hayward, he's a British officer, was standing by the gates of Fort William Henry. He saw 3 men coming towards the fort. He went to General Monroe. "General Monroe," he said, "2 French soldiers are at the gates of the fort. Hawkeye is with them. But when will help come from Fort Edward?" Hawkeye came into General Monroe's room. "General Webb gave me a letter for you," he said, "but the French soldiers took it. General Montcalm wants to speak with you. You must go to his camp." A French officer met Monroe and Duncan at the gates of the fort. They went to General Montcalm's tent in the French camp. There were French officers and Indian chiefs in the tent. Then Duncan saw Magua. Magua was fighting for the French. The Huron looked at Duncan and smiled. General Montcalm spoke first. He spoke to Monroe. "You have fought well, General," he said, "but now you must stop fighting." General Montcalm gave a letter to Monroe. Monroe read it quickly. Then he gave it to Duncan. The letter was from General Webb. So in this picture, this is General Montcalm, the French side, and then we have General Monroe, the English side, and this is Duncan. And in the back, you see Magua. The message: "We cannot send any more men. The Indians have killed too many of my soldiers." This is a message from General Webb. He is at Fort Edward. Monroe looked at Duncan. They did not speak. Then General Montcalm spoke to Monroe. "You and your soldiers must leave Fort William Henry," he said. "You can take your guns, but do not take your bullets. Your men, women, and children will be safe, but we will burn the fort." General Monroe was unhappy. "We will leave in the morning," he said. Then he and Duncan went back to the fort. Magua was angry. He spoke to the Huron chiefs. The English will leave the fort. The French will not kill them. But the English are enemies of the Hurons. We will kill the English. "3,000 English people, soldiers, women, and children, left the fort. They walked past the French soldiers and they walked towards the forest. The English soldiers carried their guns, but they had no bullets. Magua and the Hurons were standing in the forest. They watched Fort William Henry. The English left the fort and walked into the forest. Then 2,000 Indians attacked. The English could not fight. They had no bullets in their guns. Many of the English were killed. Alice and Cora saw their father. Remember, Alice and Cora's father is General Monroe. Alice and Cora saw their father, General Monroe. He was running towards the French camp. He was going to find General Montcalm. He was going to ask for help. "Father, father," shouted Alice, "we are here." But Monroe did not hear them. He did not stop. So you can see from the picture, this is a tragedy. The English left the fort, but secretly the Huron Indians attacked them. And the English do not have any bullets, so they can be killed easily. Magua was watching. He ran to Cora. "Will you come with me now?" he said. "Never," said Cora. "I will not be your wife." The Huron looked at her. Remember that Magua his Indian group is called Huron. So Magua looked at her, but he did not speak. Then he turned to Alice. He held Alice's arms. He pulled her towards a horse. "Stop!" shouted Cora, and she ran after them. Magua put Alice on the horse. Then he put Cora on the horse too. Magua, the Huron, took them along a path towards Lake Horicon. So you can see in this picture, this is Alice, and this is Cora, the older sister, and this is Magua. Magua is kidnapping them. Magua is going to take them back to his camp. He's kidnapping them, stealing